Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek Kill Team Battle Report. I'm Phil, the Glacial Geek, coming to you here from Savannah Line Games in Pooler, Georgia, where I'm about to fight a 125-point battle, kill team battle between my Genestealer Cult and Chris's Blood Angels. So the story that we've got going on here is that the Blood Angels were sent into this manufactorum that had been overtaken in a revolution, and the Blood Angels were trying to figure out what was happening inside of here and take out the revolutionaries that were here. But as they entered into the manufactorum, they realized that they were not simply dissidents that were rising up against the Imperium. They were in fact Xenos-tainted revolutionaries. They were the Genestealer Cult that was uprising against them on this planet. So they realized that they needed to take them down before they could gain any more momentum and make sure that they could hold this for the Imperium. So that's the story that we've got going on. We are going to be just doing a basically like the kill points mission. So we're just going to be trying to kill each other. So each of our leaders is going to be worth 3 points. Each of our specialists is going to be worth 2 points, and each of our non-specialists are going to be worth 1 point apiece if you kill them at the end of the game. So that's the story. That is the mission. Before we go any further, though, let's show you the two kill teams that are going to be fighting it out. So for the Genestealer Cult, my kill team will consist of, from left to right here, my leader is a neophyte leader. I then have a heavy specialist, which is a neophyte gunner with a heavy mining laser. I then have a combat specialist, who is my acolyte fighter with a heavy rock saw. I then have an aberrant with a pick, who is my zealot specialist. I have 3 more aberrants with picks, and I have 2 more acolyte fighters, one with a heavy rock saw, one with a heavy rock drill. And for the Blood Angels, from right to left here, his kill team will consist of a leader, who is an intercessor sergeant. We then have a combat specialist, which is a vanguard vet sergeant with a thunderhammer and storm shield, and a jump pack. We then have a heavy specialist, who is a scout gunner with a heavy bolter. We then have an eliminator, who will be his sniper specialist. We then have a reaver sergeant with the combat knife. We have a scout with a combat knife and an intercessor with a auspex. All right, so those are the kill teams going over deployment. I have my leader back over here. I got my zealot specialist there. Next to him is my heavy specialist. I then have a regular aberrant right here, another aberrant back over here. I've got a fighter with a rock saw, fighter with a rock drill, regular aberrant, and then I've got my combat specialist with the rock saw up in front there. Going over deployment now for the Blood Angels. We've got his scout up here. We've got his intercessor here. We've got the intercessor sergeant leader back over here. We got the sniper back up over here. We've got the heavy specialist up there. Then we've got the vanguard vet over here. And we have the reaver sergeant back over here. So that's going to be it for deployment. We are now going to roll off to see who has initiative going into turn 1. I rolled a 5. My opponent rolled a 4. So we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Genestealer Cult. All right, so movement phase for the Genestealer Cult. Everybody advanced up over this way. A couple guys had gotten Genestealer Cult moves, so including my combat specialist, which puts him just under 12 inches away from this guy over here, or just within 12 inches. So you can declare him needing an 11-inch charge on the charge. So he's going to charge now with this. No overwatch there, so I need an 11-inch charge. Oh, I'm going to spend a CP to re-roll this, even though that was real close. No, he is not going to move 4 inches. Okay, so he's not going to make it, but I'll just move him, and then we'll keep going from there. All right, so movement phase for the Blood Angels here on turn 1. His intercessor moved over here into cover. His leader readied himself. Sniper readied himself. Heavy readied himself. These two guys, the Reaver Sergeant and the Vanguard Veteran Sergeant, both moved. And now his scout is going to charge into my Dubra over here. Overwatching. Nope, no hit there. And their charge distance 9 inches will get him in. All right, so starting off the shooting phase, his readied sniper here is going to take a shot into my heavy over here. So he's going to be hitting on a 3 because he ignores the penalty for range with his sniper rifle, and he has the auspex from his intercessor over here. So that's going to be a hit. Wounding on strength 4, so looking for a 3 to wound. That is going to be a wound. AP -2 is going to go straight through his armor there. So that's going to be, what is it, D3 damage. 1 damage. So that's going to take him down to, you're going to spend a CP to reroll. All right, spend a CP to reroll that. And up into 1. Oh, actually, you can't spend a CP to reroll damage. So you still have your CP. You can't reroll the damage thing because they give you a kill team is specific. Yeah, so 1 damage there. And it's going to be 1. That would take him out of action. So now roll, injury roll here. On a 1, he takes a flesh wound. All right, so now his heavy specialist is going to fire into my zealot specialist over there. He's going to have his 3 shots here. He is obscured, so he's going to be hitting on 4s. All right, so that's going to be 1 hit. Strength 5, so looking for a 3 to wound. That is a wound. AP -1 means he's got a 6-up save. With a fill face, he's good. Woo! So now his leader over here is going to fire into my Dubro here. He's just out of 15 inches, so it's going to be 1 shot hitting on a 5 because of obscurement and range. No hit. All right, so my heavy guy here is going to shoot into his heavy specialist. Because of range and obscurement and my flesh wound, I'm hitting on 6. So show me that fill first. No fill face. All right, so now his intercessor here is going to fire into my regular aberrant over there. So he's going to have 2 shots. These are going to be hitting on 4s because of obscurement. Getting 2 hits. These are strength 4, so looking for 4s to wound. That is going to be 1 wound. AP -1 means I got a 6-up save. No save there, so he's down to 1 wound. All right, so now his scout's going to start us off in the fight phase with his 2 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's going to be 2 hits. Strength 4, so looking for 3s to wound.
Blood Angel.
Oh, Blood Angel, so 2s to wound. That's going to be 2 wounds. 2 5-up saves. No, I failed both of them. So 1 injury roll. It's only 1 because you only ever do 1 roll. With a 6, though, he's out of action.
That's your dash, right?
All right. Yeah, that's it for the Dark Angel, or everyone's turn here. So that's the end of turn 1 here with a pretty good move there. No one has to take any morale tests. Oh, no. I do have to take 1 morale test up here on this guy because he's wounded and I got a guy out. And a 5-6, he's good to go. So that's, that was close. So he's good to go, but then everyone else is going to be fine. So now we will roll off to see who will have initiative going into turn 2. I rolled a 7. My opponent rolled a 5, so we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Genestealer Cult. All right, movement phase for the Genestealer Cult. My heavy readied, my leader readied, and everyone else is going to charge. So we're going to start with him charging into the scout over here. So Overwatch on a 6. No, nothing there. So his charge distance is way in. And now my aberrant over here is going to charge into him. On a 7-inch, I think he's in. And now this guy is going to charge into him. On a 3 inches, I don't think it makes it. And now my zealot specialist is going to charge into him. 6 inches might make it. And my other fighter over here is going to charge into him as well. And he's in with a 7. All right, movement phase for the Blood Angels here. He moved down over there. He readied. And now these 3 guys are going to charge. So who do you want to start with?
I'll start with this
I'm going to start with this intercessor over here, charging into these guys. 11 inches will get him in for sure. And now his intercessor sergeant is going to charge into them as well. On a 4, he will not make it.
Sergeant.
And the Reaver sergeant is going to charge into them as well. On a 5, he will not make it. Opponent's going to spend a CP to re-roll that. And on an 8, he's in. All right, so into the shooting phase. My heavy specialist is going to fire into his heavy specialist, looking for a fill first. No hit. All right, his sniper is going to fire into my heavy over here. That is a hit. That is not a wound. Opponent's going to spend a CP to re-roll that. Into a 3, which is a wound. AP -2 goes directly through, so D3 damage. 1 damage, so roll the injury roll there. With a 2 +1 -1, he gets another flesh wound. And his heavy specialist is going to shoot into my heavy specialist. 3 shots. Hitting on 4s because of obscurement, so that's 1 hit. And that is a wound, AP -1, so looking for a fill first. No, that's going to go through. So injury roll here, +2 -1. He's out. All right, so into the fight phase now. My charger over here is going to attack into his Reaver sergeant since he was attacked there, charged there. So it's going to be 2 attacks. These are going to be hitting on 3s. Getting 1 hit. Strength 4, toughness 4, so looking for a 4 to wound. No wound. I'm going to spend a CP to re-roll that. No. And this intercessor here is now going to attack into my aberrant. So that's going to be 2 hits.
And T4.
T4, so 4 wounds.
Because of Blood Angel.
Oh, Blood Angel 3's to wound, that's right. So that's going to be 1 wound there.
I'll CP that.
You're going to send CP on that one? So that's going to be 2 wounds there. Looking for a 5-2 save. No, failed both of them, so that's going to be an injury roll here. 1 die. And on 1, he takes a flesh wound. All right, so now my my fighter here is going to attack into his scout there. So that's going to be 2 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's going to be 1 hit, wounding on a 2. That is a wound. That's going to go straight through his armor there. It's 2 damage. So the injury rolls. And on a 5, he's out of action. Now his Reaver Sergeant is going to attack into my Dubra over here. He's going to have 3 attacks base plus 1 for his combat knife, 4 attacks. So on 3s, that's going to be 2 hits. These are going to be wounding on 3s because of Blood Angels. So that's 2 wounds, 5 ups. No, failed them. 1 injury roll. And on 2, takes a flesh wound. And now my Aberrant over here is going to attack into him. 2 attacks on 4s because he got as a flesh wound there. Looking for a 4 to wound. No wound. Alrighty, so that is going to be it for the turn here. I do have some morale tests to take here. So on the Aberrant closest to me is good to go, and then the other one. 5 plus is 7. I think he's good to go. So that is going to be it for the that's going to be it for the whatchamacallit. For our turn here. So now we'll roll to see who has initiative going into turn 3. I got a 6. My opponent got a 4. So we'll come back to you after movement phase for the Genestealer Cult. All right, it's easy enough. These guys are all going to stay in combat over here. He's going to stay where he is, and this guy is going to charge into his intercessor over here. And at 6, he should be in. All right, these guys are all going to stay in combat here. This guy's going to ready. This guy's going to ready. And then this guy and this guy are going to charge. So we're going to start with this guy over here. On a 9, he'll be in. And now his Vanguard Vet's going to charge in. Vanguard Vet Sergeant, and he's in with a 10. All right, so his Heavy Specialist is going to shoot into my Aberrant that I've been forgetting about this whole time because I forgot that he was there. So here comes his shots here. That is going to be 3 hits. These are going to be Strength 5, so looking for 3s to wound. That is going to be 1 wound. AP minus 1, so looking for a 6-up save. Show me that fill first. No, it's going to go through, takes a wound. All right, all the readies, his readies can't see anybody, so now he did not charge and was not charged. So he's going to shoot his bolt pistol into whom? The Aberrant over here with the flesh wound. There we go, hitting on a 3. That is a hit. Wounding on a 6 is a wound. It's AP minus 1, so looking for a 6-up. Showing that fill first. Yeah, with the fill first. Woo! All right, so into the fight phase now. My Acolyte Fighter here with the Heavy Rock Drill is going to attack into his Intercessor over here. So it's 2 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's going to be 1 hit. Wounding on a 2. That's a wound, AP minus 3, so 6-up save. No, so that's going to be 1 damage. And because he took 1 damage, I now roll a d6. On a 2+, he takes a mortal wound. Of course he does that! Of course he does! All right, so now his Combat Specialist Vanguard Veteran Sergeant here is going to attack into Madubro here. So he's going to have 4 attacks because he's got 3 base plus 1 from the Combat Specialism. So these are going to be 4 attacks hitting on 4s because he's got a sledgehammer. So that's going to be 2 there, wounding on 2s. That's going to go straight through my armor, so it's 3 damage. So the first one is going to take him down, so 3 dice on this injury roll. And on that 5, he is out of action.
4 attacks.
All right, so now his leader is going to attack into whom do you want to attack?
We'll go on this guy.
Going to go on the right guy there. He's going to have 4 attacks because he's got 3 base plus 1 for having the chain sword there.
Hitting on 4s.
Hitting on 4s. All right, so that's going to be 1 hit because the intervening terrain is minus 1 to hit there.
3.
3 to hit. Oh, wound? No wound. All right, so now my Zealot Specialist here is going to attack into his Reaver Sergeant. So I got 2 attacks, hitting on 3s. No hits. And now his Reaver Sergeant's going to attack into my dude bro over here with the flesh wound. That is going to be 3 hits. These are going to be wounded on 4s.
He was charged this time.
He was charged.
So.
But not by him. 1 second.
You're charged.
Yeah, because he was charged. It doesn't. The rule just states on a turn that they were charged. So it doesn't say by the model that they're attacking here. So he's going to get plus 1 to wound here.
3s.
So 3 is a wound.
2.
So that's going to be 2 wounds there. Making 1 save, so 1 damage injury roll there, plus 1 because he's already got a flesh wound. A 2 gets the 3, another flesh wound. And now this guy over here is going to attack into him. He's hitting on a 4 though because he's got a flesh wound. That's going to be 1 hit. That is a wound, AP minus 2, 4-up save. No, goes through. That's going to be D3 damage. 3 damage. So these are going to be injury roll.
So wouldn't that take?
And a 6, he's out of action. And then this guy over here is going to attack into his Reaver Sergeant. He's got 2 attacks, hitting on 5s because of his 2 flesh wounds. Getting 1 hit. Getting a wound with a fill first. With a 5 is a save. Alrighty, so that is going to be the end of the turn there. No need to take any morale tests because no one is in danger of breaking. And all these guys have enough guys to keep them happy from the guys who have died there for their shock test. So that is going to be it for the turn here. So we will now roll to see who has initiative going into turn 4. I rolled a 5. My opponent rolled an 11. So we'll come back to you after the movement phase for the Blood Angels. All right. So movement phase. These guys are going to ready. These guys are going to stay in combat, and then he is going to charge into everyone over here. So I've got one guy who can fire a auto pistol. A 6, nope, no hit there, so his charge distance is way in. Movement phase for these dude bros are this guy is gonna ready himself. They're all staying in combat, and then he is gonna charge in there. I need a 9-inch charge to get in. And I get it with that 9. All right, so shooting phase. He can see into this guy over here, so he's gonna be -1 because of obscurement and -1 because of the range here. So he's gonna be hitting on 5s. That is going to be 2 hits, wounding on, strength 5. So looking for 3s to wound. That is going to be 1 wound. AP -1, looking for a fill first. No, that's going to go through. So injury roll. Ooh, on a 5, he's out.
Got damage already.
All right, so the Reaver Sergeant's going to shoot into my 2 flesh wounded aberrant over here. That's not a hit. And he's going to shoot into the same one. That is, ooh, it's not a hit. Oh, no. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, unfortunately, he needed a 4 to hit because he is obscured from where he's standing over here, even with the pistol that close. So that is going to be that. All right, so into the fight phase. I'm going to spend 2 CP for Decisive Strike, and my opponent's going to spend 2 CP for Decisive Strike. So now we will roll off 2d6 roll off. Just helps with the not having to do rerolls to see who will have the roll here. My roller rolls a 5, and I roll a 7, so we'll come back to you with my attack. All right, so my Zealot Specialist is going to start us off here. 2 attacks into his Reaver Sergeant, hitting on 3s. That is going to be 2 hits there, wounding on 4s. That is going to be 2 wounds, AP -2, so 2. 5 ups, and he makes them both. Well done. All right, so now his leader here is going to activate with his Decisive Strike into my dude bro over here with the 2 flesh wounds. So he's going to have his 4 attacks here, hitting on 4s because of intervening terrain there, wounding on 4s. So that is going to be 1 wound, 1 5-up save. No, that's going to go through. +2 to this roll. Oh, and a 6, he's out. All right, so now his Vanguard Veteran Sergeant's going to attack into my Heavy Rock Drill guy over here. So he's going to have his 4 attacks, hitting on 4s because of the -1.
Reroll one of those?
Yep, spend a CP to reroll one. No. And now my Charger will get to attack into him as well. That's going to be 2 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's going to be 1 hit. That is a wound. Onto your Vanguard Veteran there. 3 up. Invul save because of his Storm Shield. He's good. So now his Reaver Sergeant's going to attack into my Zealot Specialist there. That is going to be all except for 1 hit.
4s.
And then 4s to wound. That is going to be 2 wounds there. 2 5-up saves. And he makes 1, fails 1. So now my my Heavy Rock Drill guy is going to attack into his Vanguard Veteran there. That's 2 attacks, hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. That's going to be 2 wounds, AP -3, 3-up invul save. Fails 1 of them, so he takes 1 damage there. And then he is going, I'm going to get, to roll on a 2+, he takes a mortal wound. That's twice. Oh! I apologize for that reaction there because he only has 1 wound because he's a normal Vanguard Veteran Sergeant as opposed to Primaris guys that I was used to attacking into there. So he is dead. So that's going to be an injury roll now. Or not dead. He's down to 0 wounds. So an injury roll. But with that fill face, he is dead. And then this guy here is going to attack into him. 2 attacks hitting on 4s because he's got a flesh wound. Ooh, 1 hit there. Wounding on a 4. No wound. I'm going to spend a CP to reroll that. No. All right, so my opponent's going to spend 2 CP for Honor the Chapter to have his Reaver Sergeant attack into my Zealot again. So he's going to have his 4 attacks here, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, getting 2 wounds, 2 5-up saves. No, failed them, so injury roll. Ooh, takes a flesh wound. All right, so that's the end of turn 4 here. I'm going to have to roll to see for a break test since I've lost 5 out of my 9 guys here. So looking for I've got a 7 is the highest leadership I've got out there. And a 5, I'm good to go. But I do have to take some shock tests because this guy over here, he lost 5 guys, but he's got 1, 2, 3 around him. So it's like I've lost 2 guys. So 2 plus 3 is a 5. He's good to go. Same thing for the other guy. And he's also good to go. So no shock, no worries there. So that's the end of turn 4. So now we're going to have to roll to see if it goes on to a turn 5. So let's find out. Roll a d6. And on a 1, that's the end of the game there. So we will come back to you with the score. All right, so at the end of the game, my opponent killed 2 of my specialists, my leader, and 2 regular guys, giving him 9 points. I was able to kill 1 of his specialists and 2 of his regular guys, giving me 4 points. So a victory for the Blood Angels, as presumably they just clean up house over here afterwards, killing off the rest of the Xenos and driving them back underground. But we will be back. We'll always be back. So that was a ton of fun. I really had a blast playing that. I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I certainly have. I've been Phil, the Glacial Geek, as always. My opponent's been Chris, and until next time, have fun.